Their Excellencies, the Right Honourable Dame Cindy Kittle, Governor General of New Zealand, and Dr. Richard Davis.
Please be seated. E ngā mana, e ngā reo, e ngā iwi o ngā hau e whā, tēnei aku mihi mahana ki a koutou. Nau mai, hara mai, ki te whare kāwana o te kawana tienara, kei whanganui e tara. Kia ora mai tātou katoa. Talofa lava, malola lei, kia orana, nisambulavanaka, namaste, ni hao, and warm Pacific greetings to you all. Distinguished guests, it's a pleasure to welcome you to Government House for today's investiture ceremony. I'd like to specifically acknowledge Mr. Joe Harawira, our kaumātua, and Ms. Puhi Wahine Tipul, our kuia. Hosting investiture ceremonies is one of the most important duties I perform on behalf of His Majesty, the King of New Zealand. I'm delighted to bring together such an extraordinary group of New Zealanders. You have each brought pride and a greater sense of well-being to Aotearoa New Zealand through your outstanding achievements and your service to our communities. On behalf of all New Zealanders, I extend my sincerest thanks to you for your contributions. After each recipient is honoured, I invite you to join with me in congratulating them. Ms. Catriona McLeod will now summon the recipients and read their citations.
Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of a Companion of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Distinguished Professor Nigel French of Palmerston North for services to epidemiology. Professor Nigel French was Professor of Food Safety and Veterinary Public Health at Massey University. He pioneered the use of genomic sequencing to trace the source of outbreaks of food and waterborne bacteria and community infections, and the control of Mycoplasma bovis in livestock. His research pinpointed sources of foodborne Campylobacter infections, helping halve infection rates. He helped contain the 2016 waterborne disease outbreak in Havelock North and has worked to ensure food and water quality in Uawa, Tolaga Bay. He founded the Molecular Epidemiology and Public Health Laboratory and Infectious Disease Research Centre at Massey. He founded the New Zealand Food Safety Science and Research Centre, the New Zealand-China Food Protection Network, and One Health Aotearoa. Professor French provided advice towards New Zealand's COVID-19 response and has been involved with international research initiatives. Distinguished Professor Nigel French, please come forward. Professor Ralph Sims of Palmerston North for services to sustainable energy research. Professor Ralph Sims is Professor Emeritus, Sustainable Energy and Climate Mitigation at Massey University. He gained prominence for his work in making and testing biodiesel from animal fats, now part of New Zealand's renewable fuel mix. He played a key role with the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Authority in establishing New Zealand's first energy efficiency and renewable strategy. He chaired the panel of experts preparing the Royal Society of New Zealand's publication, Transition to a Low-Carbon Economy for New Zealand. He led the writing of chapters in 3 assessment reports for the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, one of which won the Nobel Peace Prize. Professor Sims was seconded to the International Energy Agency and served on the scientific and technical advisory panel of the World Bank's Global Environment Facility. Professor Ralph Sims, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of an Officer of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Professor Emeritus Alison Rich of Dunedin for services to oral pathology. Professor Emeritus Alison Rich is leader of the Oral Molecular and Immunological Group at the Sir John Walsh Research Institute and head of the Oral Pathology Diagnostic Services in Otago University's Faculty of Dentistry. She is Chief Examiner for the Faculty of Oral and Maxillofacial Pathology, Royal College of Pathologists of Australasia, and Head of Pathology at the University of Otago Dunedin School of Medicine. She's the first female president-elect of the International Association of Oral Pathologists. She's given her expertise to numerous organisations and projects, including a teaching programme for rural health professionals with a high proportion of Māori patients. Professor Rich has produced more than 100 research publications and has been placed within the top 1% of New Zealand researchers by the Performance-Based Research Fund. Professor Emeritus Alison Rich, please come forward. Mr. John Taylor of Paraparaumu for Services to Disabled People. John Taylor led establishment of the Enabling Good Lives approach to the New Zealand disability sector and the integration of disability services into the New Zealand Disability Support Network, NZDSN. He was chair of the NZDSN and a member of the National Reference Group for the Ministry of Health. As CEO of Community Connections, he's developed hapu-based disability services in Eastern Bay of Plenty and has made a Level 3 certificate in Human Services compulsory for all staff. He's a member of the Waikaha Disability Funding Consultation Group, an advisor to the Health and Disability Commissioner for Disability Support Services. Mr. Taylor is a member of the steering group for the High and Complex Framework Review, looking at the Intellectual Disability Compulsory Care and Rehabilitation Act. Mr. John Taylor, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of a member of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Mr. Peter Kaiser of Auckland, for services to education. Peter Kaiser has been the principal of West Auckland's Tirimoana Primary School since 1992. He initiated the establishment of Kahui Ako in New Zealand, a group of education and training providers that form around children and young people's learning pathways. He was lead principal and lead teacher of expertise for the Te Atatu Kahui Ako. He was appointed the Teaching Council of New Zealand to appraise initial teacher education and as a Complaints Assessment Committee member. He serves on the West Auckland Principals Association and the Improving School Attendance Programme. Mr. Kaiser is a member of the National Reading Recovery and Early Literacy Support Sector Advisory Group. Mr. Peter Kaiser, please come forward. Mrs. Mama Kenny Moiroa of Dunedin for services to the Cook Islands community. Mama Kenny Moiroa is treasurer of Te Waka Cook Islands of Dunedin and helps organise social and cultural events. She organised workshops exploring the Cook Island way of understanding well-being. She founded Tahuna Pacifica, has taught children Cook Islands dance, and has contributed to the Kia Orana Performing Arts Group. She helped establish the Pacific Trust Otago, and as a board member, she chaired the University of Otago's Pacific Advisory Group. She facilitates the Pacific Immersion Program for medical students and has been a senior research fellow at Te Wa'a o Tautai Centre for Pacific Health. Mrs. Kenny has been a member of the Mangayan Va'ine Tini, creating Cook Islands quilts. Mrs. Mama Kenny Moiroa, please come forward. Ms. Andrea Nelson of Auckland for services to sport. Andrea Nelson was head of editorial services and chief editor at the 2012 London Olympic Games and served as the director of marketing and communications for the FIFA Under-20 World Cup hosted by New Zealand in 2015. She was the general manager at New Zealand of the 2017 Rugby League World Cup. She was the Chief Executive Officer of the International Cricket Council, ICC, Women's Cricket World Cup 2022. She led the upgrade of facilities to host the event, which saw a record-breaking sold-out final at the Hagley Oval and 1.64 billion video views. Ms. Nelson is CEO of Gymnastics New Zealand and Chair of Northern Regional Football. Ms. Andrea Nelson, please come forward. Mr. Derek Shaw of Nelson for services to the environment, local government and athletics. Derek Shaw has been involved with the Nelson Environment Centre, Te Putahi Taio, since 1976. He's chaired the organisation, edited a quarterly journal, presented submissions on environmental issues, facilitated meetings, driven campaigns, coordinated volunteers, and managed its shop and library. He was a founding trustee and acting chair of the Brook Waimarama Wildlife Sanctuary. He was a Nelson City Councillor, helping to develop the city's biodiversity strategy and the Nelson Biodiversity Forum. He was a member of the Environment Legal Assistance Advisory Panel. He's helped organise Nelson's amateur athletics through Masters Games. Mr. Shaw is chair of the Top of the South Athletics Charitable Trust. Mr. Derek Shaw, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the Queen's Service Medal, Mr. Tony Fortune of Reefton for services to the community. Tony Fortune has taught at schools in Reefton and Inangahua since 1974. He's been involved with Sacred Heart Parish Church for 60 years. He contributes a history column to the community publication, The Clarion, and a morning report for Coast FM. He is president of the Inangahua Silver Band and a member of the Westport and Greymouth Municipal Band. He leads fundraising to restore the Reefton Band Hall. He has been a Reefton Athletic Harriers Club and West Coast Amateur Sports Trust Committee member. Mr. Fortune is a Justice of the Peace and West Coast JP's Association President. Mr. Tony Fortune, please come forward. Ms. Miraka Norgate of Nelson for services to the community. Miraka Norgate, Ngā Puhi Nui Tono, was instrumental in the establishment of the Waimea Kohanga Reo in 1984 and currently serves as kuia for all Kohanga Reo in the Nelson Tasman region. She also supported all marae in their establishment phases in the region and helped with community events. She was chair of the Whakatu Māori Women's Welfare League and Nelson Boys College Board of Trustees. She was a member of the Richmond Waimea Return Service Association. Ms. Norgate serves on the Nelson Cancer Society Board and the Nelson Bays Primary Health Māori Committee. Ms. Miraka Norgate, please come forward. Dr. Ram Sri Ramaratnam of Wellington for services to the Tamil community. Dr. Ram Sri Ramaratnam has been Secretary and President of the Wellington Tamil Society, a not-for-profit organisation which aims to advance Tamil culture, language and literature and provide a sense of community. He established the Lower Hutt branch, which is now the main centre for Tamil education in Wellington. He's participated in a Tamil language broadcast on Access Radio, supporting young presenters. He established the Wellington Tamil Sports Club, has served as club captain and president, and represents the club in local cricket leagues. Dr. Sri Ramaratnam has been involved with the Red Cross, supporting Sri Lankan refugees in New Zealand. Dr. Ram Sri Ramaratnam, please come forward. Your Excellency, the investiture has concluded.
New Zealand's honours system is our highest public affirmation of outstanding individual achievement. It reinforces those things that make our society better: service, manaakitanga, and the pursuit of excellence. To our recipients, it has been a privilege to hear your stories. You have each used your talents and abilities to improve the lives of fellow New Zealanders and often people around the world. In doing so, you embody the sentiments expressed by Nelson Mandela when he said, "What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the lives that we led." I urge recipients to wear your insignia with pride at every opportunity, knowing that you inspire others by your example. On behalf of the King of New Zealand, and indeed all New Zealanders, I congratulate you on your achievements, and I thank you once again for your contribution to our country. Kia ora, e hui mai tātou I tēnei rā. Now you will see on the back of your program the words to the national anthem in Te Reo Māori and English. I now invite you to stand with me and join in singing the national anthem.